There are two bills now in the works that would undo Proposition 47. Fox 26 reporter Marie Edinger is with us in studio to explain both of them and talk about their potential impact. Marie?
Approved bills in the work right now, or bills that would need to be approved by voters, rather. Voters did approve Proposition 47 in 2014, so if you watch our program, you have likely heard about it by now. It changed several felonies to misdemeanors and raised the threshold for what's considered grand theft. Some local legislators think Proposition 47, as a law, has created lawlessness. They're trying to remedy that. Proposition 47's full name is the Safe Neighborhood in Schools Act. It promised to ensure that prison spending is focused on violent and serious offenses and invest the money saved to support schools, victim services, and mental health and drug treatment.
We were promised a lower crime rate. It's actually higher. We were promised money for rehabilitation, and we're having a hard time accounting for that money.
I believe the public was misled when it came to the original proposition. If explained properly, if titled properly, I think the public is going to make the connection with the consequences of the original initiative, and it's time to roll it back.
This week, Assemblymember Jim Patterson, who oversees Fresno and Clovis, introduced AB 1599 to repeal Prop 47.
We're just not going to take this anymore.
His bill would also check in on how much money was actually generated by the savings Prop 47 promised. Assemblymember Rudy Salas, a Democrat representing the Bakersfield area, introduced a more minor adjustment to the law. Assembly Bill 1603 would only affect Prop 47's impact on property crime, changing the bar for what constitutes a felony retail theft from what it is now, $950, back to what it was before Prop 47, $400. It's important to keep in mind, though, voters approved Prop 47, and in 2020, 62% of the state voted to keep it.
In the Central Valley, I think our representatives will probably be very supportive, but I'm not confident at all that Bay Area or Southern California legislators are going to support this.
What's different about this bill or different about this era that would make voters choose to vote for your bill this time around?
Right now, they are making decisions that are casting them as caring about repeat criminals and not caring very much about repeat victims. And we're seeing the consequences before us. And so I think the era has changed. Maybe the politicians up in Sacramento that want to protect 47 have not.
The lawmakers who authored Prop 47 argue it has lowered crime rates, but those against it say that is not at all the case and argue it's only changed the definitions for certain offenses and encouraged businesses not to report crimes that would only count as misdemeanors. Monty?
Well, Marie, what do they think the chances of either or both of those measures passing might be?
So Assemblymember Patterson actually told me today that he really thinks this is a long shot. That's because of what it would take to even get on the ballot in the first place. And as we just saw in 2020, 62% of voters did not want to change that. So it seems like even though people here in the Central Valley are enthusiastic about changing it, that's not true for the rest of the state, if we even do get to voice our opinions on that at the ballot box.
All right, Marie, we shall see. Fresno County's Assistant District Attorney told Fox 26 today he supports both Assembly members' attempts to roll back Prop 47 and that the negative public safety implications of the bill were predictable. He told us in a statement, Prop 47 has directly caused theft to spike, particularly in the retail setting. This type of theft leads to higher prices, higher insurance rates, business closures, and it also endangers customers and store employees faced with confronting thieves who become increasingly brazen in their tactics and criminality, knowing that there's a decreased accountability for their actions. Well, crews are working to keep the streets of Fresno a bit less bumpy. That's after our recent storms gave rise to a whole new crop of potholes. As Fox 26 reporter Myra Franco shows us live, the city is also working to make the roads safer. Myra, tell us how.
Monty, more workers are now working to fill in a dozen of potholes throughout the city of Fresno, and Public Works Manager Brett Connor says in just the past month, in December 2020, there was about 300 reports that people were saying to fix the roads, and this one behind me, McKinley Avenue, is one that saw quite the number there. A smoother start to the new year for drivers. That is now the goal for the city of Fresno. Crews are working hard, filling in potholes, one after another. This is McKinley Avenue in Fresno. Out of those 300 requests for repairs the city says it received last month, most of them are for McKinley Avenue alone. Many people driving through McKinley may not see the potholes, but they can definitely feel them. One local resident says he notices them on the way to work every day.
I see them all the time. I actually got a couple flats with them. I had to drive all the way home just like that, honestly. About 3-4 times. Yeah, it's not fun.
Hitting a pothole can cause damage and costly repairs that isn't always covered by insurance. That's why fixing potholes like these can help a lot of drivers save some money.
A lot of people can afford tires right away. Some people have to wait till the next check or something, but honestly, that will actually help a lot of people out in the long run, honestly.
Gustavo Arciniega works at AutoZone and says in a 2-week span, 20 to 30 people come in for
Fix a flat or anything, tire repair kits like that, because they're stuck on the road and they'll mention potholes most of the time.
Potholes can puncture tires, bend or crack a wheel, and can knock your vehicle out of alignment. And if that happens, you may hear,
They're stumping the whole way.
but there is something you can do.
Just let us know. I mean, we are here around the clock for filling up potholes along with other items that street maintenance or division addresses.
2 ways you can do that is by calling 311 or downloading the Fresgo app to report them there. But for now, live in McKinley and Fresno, I'm Myra Franco, Fox 26 News.
Students are now entering the second academic year of online distance learning. Now, with the threat of the Omicron variant, school districts are weighing options to help students across the state cope with trauma associated with a loss of learning through this pandemic. Fox 26 reporter Christina Lopez has more in tonight's Crisis in the Classroom.
Today, officials with the California Department of Education, including healthcare professionals and educators, met to address future legislation to combat learning loss during the ongoing pandemic and to focus on this concept of learning recovery through programs aimed at improving students' overall mental health.
This is not an easy time to be there for children when they are acting out with greater anger, greater frustration, and certainly greater symptoms of anxiety and depression.
In the months of distance learning, the pandemic has revealed new statistics drawing the attention of pediatricians and school clinicians.
About 1/2 of all young people in America are currently exhibiting signs of anxiety and depression.
Other side effects from the loss of learning include a rise in PTSD and other trauma-related diagnoses, as well as an increase in substance use.
We know that the pandemic has had an impact on all children and on learning, but we know that our students are resilient and that they can continue to learn.
Safety in learning made possible by a recent rise in availability of testing kits across the state. As testing improvements are being made, school districts continue to face another uphill battle combating the mental health needs of students.
We're seeing the effects of trauma getting literally underneath kids' skin and manifesting in behaviors in our classrooms, in our homes, in our communities, in our clinics that we've really never seen before.
One of those programs is a proposal between the Alliance in partnership with the Department of Education to recruit 10,000 mental health clinicians in the state. The alliance formed by a coalition of mental health organizations throughout the state.
We have really treated mental health differently than physical health and acted like it wasn't as important when underneath it all mental health is foundational to physical health.
Christina Lopez, Fox 26 News.
Fox 26 News will keep investigating problems tied to education over the coming weeks and months. And if you think there's something we should look into, please let us know about it. Reach out to us through Facebook or Twitter, or just send an email to newsdesk@kmph.com.